My quiver and bow are ready.
Yo, 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 it's Mini TV and it's 2020! Whoop, whoop, whoop! I'm back, guys, with another video, and today we're going to do a carry style of hero. I haven't done a lot of carries actually on this channel, so I'm looking forward to bringing you some more carry heroes in this channel going forward, because I'm actually playing kind of carry going forward for my university team, so there might be more carry heroes going forward. Today we're picking up the hero Drow Ranger. I mean, it's been kind of nerfed in the last patches or two, those sort of D and E patches, but the hero's still bibbidi bonkers, so the hero's really good. I've been winning with it quite a lot recently and having great success, and hopefully you will too after this video as well. So without further ado, let's get to it. So guys, this is the game. I have the camera in the right place. Rejoice, everyone can see my mini map now. This is like just an average high-ish game. Like we have, like, this guy's 1800, I think, like this guy's like 743, so pretty decent skilled game. So starting off, just talking about kind of when to pick Drow Ranger. I think she's kind of good in most lineups, to be fair. But the reason why I picked her actually in this game is because I knew I was laning against a Nature's Prophet and probably the Rubik or the Snapfire. And like whenever you lane against a hero like, you know, Nature's Prophet or Rubik, like a lot of these range heroes that just want to completely batter you completely with right clicks, having a ranged hero is really nice, because it's a lot harder for them to keep continually right clicking you. And Drow Ranger can go tit for tat really when it comes to right clicks, obviously with our frost arrows. So that's the reason why I picked her. Plus we had like kind of good frontline as well. We had Doom and Treant, so hopefully I could be able to play in the background, in the back lines, while I was in the team fights, for example. So starting off with the item build, it's you know they're just a lot of stats really, to kind of help with last hitting. Obviously I'm playing against a Prophet who has pretty high base damage as well, so I want to kind of maximize my stats. So slippers of agility, circlet, you can go double slippers of agility and 2 branches, or you can get rid of the circlet and go for a salve if you need it. But like I said, I wanted to kind of maximize my stats just so I was able to have a chance at last hitting. But you'll actually see in this first few minutes I get barely any last hits, so it's a bit of a problem, but alas. So first skill, always frost arrows. The multi-shot kind of relies on you having the frost arrows similar to Luna's Q and her ulti. Like you need to have points in her Q for her ulti to work. Kind of same thing with multi-shot with the frost arrow effect, because it applies the frost arrows onto your multi-shot. So obviously if you don't have any frost arrows, then it feels bad, man, basically. Plus obviously when you have the frost arrows early on, it allows you to kind of continue to bombard them and chase them down. You see me lose the rune here because I have old man fingers, and this Rubik was too fast for me, so we lose that at the start. So yeah, like what you can kind of try and do, like, I mean, Jakira puts the lane ward down, and what we could have maybe done is just kind of like straight off from the get-go, like spam him off with frost arrows, which we kind of do. But we could have maybe done it a little bit earlier before the creeps even meet. But you'll see straight away we go straight on them, because this lane, I mean, if I try and, as you see, like, we go straight on him with straight onto the frost arrows and forces Rubik back. But you'll see in this lane, because I'm playing against Nature's Prophet plus his 2 Treants, they have like 20 damage over me, and I simply can't get a last hit against this guy, because he has the damage advantage. Obviously his hero plus his 2 Treants are like about 20 damage over me, so what I have to do instead just is trying to harass them out to the point where they feel threatened enough to go back, and then I'm able to get you know, some last hits in here. So again, just kind of spamming it out. A good thing to note about Drow's frost arrows is that they're like an orb effect. So if I did use them, so say I clicked Q and then clicked onto the Rubik or onto the onto the Nature's Prophet, it doesn't draw aggro from the creeps. So as a result, you can do a lot of harass without taking a lot of damage, which you normally would if you're any other ranged hero trying to right click someone in the lane, because it doesn't pull aggro from the enemy creeps, which is quite nice to note. So level 2, obviously straight into multi-shot. It's quite a nice fact. I mean, it's kind of been nerfed a little bit. I think it was like 20% more in the earlier patches. So it's not the greatest level 1 ability, but it's still obviously necessary that you build into it so that you can get it higher level later on. So obviously lane's kind of pushed. I kind of want my Jakiro to push out the wave here. Sorry, pull the wave, because I'm not really in the most safest position, and he does. So he pulls the lane. I was thinking about kind of contesting the Prophet and then the Rubik, but seeing as I have creeps pushing into my tower, I have to run back and CS and leave Jakiro on an island by himself. So we kind of fast forward a little bit. This lane stage actually wasn't great for myself, as you see. I'm kind of low on the last hits, but it is to be expected somewhat because I'm playing against double range that can kind of outlast hit me. It doesn't help that I miss CS like that. that should be free. But yeah. So still kind of like the same principle kind of applies. Really, like I don't want to be kind of trying to trade with him or trying to trade for the last hit. So I want to be trying to harass them as much as possible, because if we just kind of go both for the same last hit, they'll probably end up out CSing me. So I've got to try and harass them whenever I can. But Jakiro is kind of low really, so I don't want to get too far, because otherwise this happens and he gets lifted back, and you know, this happens really. So I get 2 points in multi-shot here, which is good and bad in some ways. It's kind of good because I'm playing against Treant, well, not Treant, Nature's Prophet. Here I'm playing against his Treant, so I always get confused with that. And obviously sometimes the multi-shot is kind of good to kind of clear those out. Also, if you saw, I bought a Clarity and a Salve, but he didn't bring it to me, and I get very angry and I ping him like, yo, why did you bring myself? But it comes in the curry anyway. Yeah, so back to the multi-shot quickly. So the multi-shot, obviously high levels, I can kind of do this kind of stuff, trying to harass him and his Treants at the same time. But having like that second point in Frost Arrows is quite nice, because it actually doubles the movement speed slow, as you can sort of see here. So normally, if I was against any other hero, I probably would just go like 2 points in Frost Arrows and leave multi-shot level 1 at level 3, because that extra double percent in movement slow is really, really nice actually. And if you're playing against a melee offlaner, you can really feel it, and you can do a lot of work on it. Again, just kind of manning up here whenever I have the ability to. Getting the bounty runes, pushing it out. So as in terms of like item builds here, kind of pretty standard, like just building into Wraith Bands. One thing to note is actually, as you sort of see here as well. So first off, we go straight onto the Nature's Prophet, and this is really important when you play carry or any kind of side lane actually, is realizing when your enemy offlane or enemy safe lane, if you're playing offlane, is alone. So obviously right now we see Rubik mid on the minimap, yeah, and this is where it's really important to go on them, because we know he's alone. Obviously, before that, we didn't see Rubik mid, so we were like, oh, where's Rubik? We don't want to commit too heavily because Rubik could show up, for example, but now Rubik showed mid, we are free to go ahead and take this kill. Jakiro makes a mega lol ice path and misses him, and I take quite a lot of damage from these treants, and I end up trying to run right, so I nearly end up dying to the treants. And I know Prophet's TP'd in, so I have to run this way. Get kind of lucky with not getting sprouted there, although I did have Tango, so I might have been okay. And I'm forced to go back. So, yeah, obviously, just quickly talking about that point, obviously, Prophet was by himself because we saw Rubik mid. When that's the case, you should always go on the offlaner. Even if you don't kill him, it forces him to play more back, and enables you to get more CS, etc. But going back to the item build, so as you see, I've picked up 2 mangoes here, and Drow now, because of the change, obviously, and in having multi-shot now, you actually suffer with mana. You have a lot of mana problems, actually, particularly in the lane, but also in the mid-game as well, because you're using, Gust, you're using multi-shot, for example, and so you need to have constant mana to be useful and have a presence in the lane. So it's really important that you actually have mangoes on you. Another thing as well, I could have actually got Magic Wand as well in this lane, because you kind of, like I said before this patch, you didn't really need to go Magic Wand because it's all about getting agility. But now you need mana. Magic Wand is quite useful to have, and obviously I get out with the tangos there, and I'm fine. So, like also this point in the lane as a Drow, you're getting close to level 6, and you kind of want to leave the lane kind of as soon as possible if it is one of those annoying lanes that you're struggling in and you're kind of feeling unsafe about. So what I try and do, as you see here, I'm just kind of pushing the wave out as much as possible, because I want to keep the lane pushed out so my tower is safe, and I don't want to be in this lane any longer than I need to be, because I want to be pushing this lane out as much as I can, and then going straight off to the jungle. So obviously I'm using multi-shot, just kind of push out the wave as fast as possible. Don't really care if it gets denied and stuff, because I just don't want to be in this lane. Obviously if we see an opportunity for a kill, fair dues. I end up getting manned up on, and this Rubik was pretty good. I mean, if he has a kind of avatar like that, he's going to be pretty good at Rubik. So get man up here, and this is the reason why I was talking about. I don't really want to be in this lane any longer than I need to be. So pushing out the wave and going to the jungle is safe to do, and you farm pretty fast in the jungle as well, particularly now you're level 6. Not as fast as you used to because he doesn't one-shot creeps anymore, but still the same principle applies. I want to be pushing the wave out as soon as possible, because otherwise things like this can happen, and you don't want to be dying early on as a Drow. So I see Rubik bottom. I know that if there's anyone going to be top, it's just going to be the Prophet. So I'm able to kind of push out this wave by myself. So I go ahead. As you see me, I was running to the jungle. Then I see Rubik bottom. I go push out the lane because I know it's just the Prophet. So 10-minute bounty runes. So this is a really important announcement. PSA to every carry player, every offlaner, everyone who plays Dota. At 10 minutes, you have to contest outposts. They are so important. They give so much experience. And obviously you have the bounty runes on top of that as well. So it's really important that you contest them. Doesn't necessarily mean that you make sure you get every single one. As long as you get one, that's good enough. And it looks like we're going to get bottom. But I'm still going to contest top because I know Rubik's mid and I know Magnus is mid. So it's just the Prophet. So as a result, Prophet goes for the outpost. And as a result, he loses his life because of it. If I didn't go and contest the outpost, I wouldn't have got that kill. So really important that you contest outposts. Rubik was a little bit late to that contesting, and as a result, his Prophet dies. But we got bot outposts, as you can see on the minimap. So really important that you contest outposts. So important nowadays that if you're not top, you're bot contesting the outpost, for example. You can't be anywhere else, particularly at the 10 minutes. So I know Rubik was top a second ago, and obviously Prophet's going to TP in, so I'm going to go off to the jungle. Rubik is back mid. However, so maybe I could go push up top, as I know it's just the Prophet. But Magnus is missing, for example, so I'm happy just to sort of sit in the jungle and then defend my tower when I need to, which is about now. So I should be running over to the top, and as I am. So obviously, when you play Drow Ranger, kind of like particularly in these sort of 10 to 12 minutes where the lane stage is starting to be broken down, you just want to rotate between jungle and your safe lane when you're defending the tower. Push out the lane, go back to jungle. Push out the lane, go to jungle, for example. Obviously, Drow nowadays is a hero that you can take team fights with. So if there is an opportunity to team fight, don't be afraid to team fight. Obviously, I end up dying here because I end up getting kind of rotated and dying. But don't be afraid to take team fights because your hero is really good now in comparison to what he used to be. He's not just AFK jungler now. He can be involved in team fights, and as a result, you see there's still a team fight going on even after I died, so I go and TP straight away. And with my gust and multi-shot, end up securing the kill on the Slark. So obviously before, perhaps if I was playing the Drow pre 7253, I might have TP'd bot, for example. But it's okay to take team fights now because your hero is really good with multi-shot, and obviously a point in gust, what I got at like level 8, really important. But obviously, because of TP top, I can't play bot. But generally speaking, you always want to be playing the bot lane if possible, because it's the safest places to farm, and obviously, if there is a team fight, it's normally going to happen top on your safe lane tower. And as I talked to you before about, you can make team fights and make plays happen. So TPing into fights is always beneficial because you don't want to be the one being getting gone on, basically. You want to be TPing in, playing on the outskirts. Obviously, that last team fight where I got gone on, I died and we lost the team fight. Whereas if you're TPing into these fights, it's a lot more beneficial. So really important that if you have the ability to play on the other side of the map, normally in the off lane, because that's just the dead lane is your safe lane. BSJ can talk about all about that. Obviously, I was playing top because I didn't have a TP, but now I have a TP. I'm TPing bottom, and I want to play bot as much as possible because if they kill me, they're not going to be able to get too much like objectives. They really want to take this safe lane tier 1, like from their standpoint. And I've talked to you about it on my other videos, like when I was playing Doom in the off lane. Really important that you take the enemy's safe tier 1 because then it opens their jungle to your carry or to your team. So because I'm probably the highest priority kill for them, I have to play on the opposite side to the objective they want to take. The objective they want to take is this tier 1 tower. So if I'm at my safe lane tower and they kill me, then they also take the important objective. However, if I play bot and they kill me, there's no way they can take the tier 1 tower safe. Does that make sense? So you kind of split their priorities. More often than not, they will leave you and then take the tier 1 tower, which allows you to just sort of farm this area of the map, which is nice, you know? So that's where you want to be playing. Obviously, you know, you can rotate it, particularly if you're playing Dire, between these 3 camps, this lane, and then these 2, and then just repeat the cycle over and over again. And it's really important that you do that. Obviously, defending the tower, if you know the enemy carry is pushing in, because you have multi-shot and you can do that. But it's really important. Obviously, I have said that you can team fight, but you don't want to be running 2 team fights, because Drow is a hero that's really immobile. He's actually really kind of slow. He's not like an anti-mage that can blink over and, you know, get farm. The best way you can farm is if the creeps are all near you, and this obviously Dire Triangle is really nice to do that, because you're not that fast. Obviously, if you see an opportunity to go for it, you can let go kills for this. Obviously, I missed my gust, and that's it. But it's really important that if the fight happens, you TP to it instead of kind of looking for the fight, obviously. Because right now, in terms of my item build, I don't have the right items to just go ahead and push with my team. I kind of need BKB, I need Hurricane Pike as well if they jump on me to kind of create the gap. And talking of item builds, Dragon Lance, I think, is kind of crucial and critical on every Drow game, because of just kind of what your hero is. Your hero is like a ranger at the end of the day. Like, you want to be playing the outskirts of the fight, but not only that, but it also adds extra distance to your multi-shot as well. So obviously the 140 attack range you get naturally also is applied to your multi-shot. So it's really crucial, and it's a kind of critical item that you must have as Drow Ranger. Obviously the Hurricane Pike can be useful, but it's not as critical and necessary as the Dragon Lance. If it is a good Hurricane Pike game, then get it. In this game, it kind of is for me, because not only do I need to kind of get rid of the pounce from Slark as well, but I can do the same with Magnus if he charges on me, for example. So really, really critical here that I get that. And nice multi-shot uses there. Completely missed the creeps. But yeah, so it's important that you kind of get those items. And before I start pushing with my team, like I said, I need my BKB, I need Hurricane Pike. So until that happens, or I see a good opportunity to, I'm just going to kind of keep playing this part of the map. I could be mid, but my OD's not with them either, so it's not like there's a big team engagement that they want me to team and group up with. So I'm happy kind of sitting in this part of the map. Again, you know, playing pretty safe. Magnus is pushing out top, obviously, and Prophet could end up dying here if he pushes it out, and this is kind of the benefit of your hero as well with Gust, but we're not able to spot him, and he gets away. But I'm gonna, oh, he doesn't get away, he pushes the lane. I miss my Gust, and Doom gets doomed anyway, so here's what it is. So I talked to you about kind of the necessity of getting. I think about TPing top, but I look at it and realise I don't actually need to be there. It's not a big team fight, so I can end up being more useful pushing out bot and keeping the pressure on bot lane. So I decide not to TP Zoo. Although when Magnus shows up, I'm thinking about TPing in, but because if I TP there, the fight's already over. So it's kind of a bit of an overcommitment from my team really there. I can't really TP to that engagement. If I did TP, I would be late. And then also I would be playing the wrong part of the map. So it was kind of a, should I TP, should I not? It was kind of a close one, but I feel like my team probably overextended a bit too much and got, you know, paid the price as a result of it. What was I saying? Yeah, so Yasha. So obviously I need that Hurricane Pike, but because I'm kind of playing this kind of greedy style while I'm just kind of farming this kind of this part of the map, Yasha helps me farm faster, simply because obviously I'm doing more damage because of the higher agility, the attack speed, but also the movement speed is really nice as well. It's a hero that is kind of slow naturally, so having the movement speed from Yasha is really, really nice. I'm going to need a BKP eventually, but because I'm not kind of fighting right now, I don't necessarily need it. And the same goes for Hurricane Pike as well. I will need a Hurricane Pike, particularly because I'm playing against Prophet as well, so I need a way of kind of getting out of his sprout trees as well. So really, really important. I get that. But going the Yasha just comes and helps me farm and doing exactly what I'm doing anyway. So if I'm not doing anything different, might as well just kind of maximise farming, which is what I'm doing. And that's what I go ahead and do that with. Hurricane Pike's next, because I need that. If I want to be pushing out lanes and stuff, I kind of need a Hurricane Pike, more so than I need a BKB, because Slark Pounce or Prophet Sprout as well. It's pretty critical. But again, just kind of playing the same part of the map. I'll talk about talents quickly now. So I think the first 10 and 15 they're non-negotiable. I feel like you kind of have to get the 5 stats and 12 agility. Your hero is so basics, so dependent on stats, obviously, because your agility bonus and your marksmanship is kind of reliant on you getting stats. You could maybe make an argument for the level 10 movement speed one, because I've talked about how slow Drow is, but I think for the level 15 one, the 12 agility is just too much value, basically, to go for the 50% gust blind, although it is quite nice, to be fair. 50% gust blind is quite nice, but particularly not this game, seeing as Slark can kind of dispel it anyway, if he gets a good dark pact off anyway. So, as for like the 20 and 25, like I said, every one of Drow's talents is really, really good, but depending on obviously what you need, and normally if you are the carry hero, you're going to be going for the damage, so multi-shot and marksman chance is really nice. You've seen the Hurricane Pike come into effect there with the whole sprout. But yeah, normally I go for the 35% multi-shot and the 50% marksmanship chance, although the 40% cooldown reduction is definitely a notable mention. Like, it's huge, particularly if you have items like any kind of usable items like Hurricane Pike, BKB, maybe Shadow Blade, for example, even F Blade. The 40% cooldown reduction is huge, actually. But, you know, it is situational, probably the more 20 and 25 talents compared to the 10 and the 15. So again, still kind of playing the same kind of game. And you'll see I've changed this style of play when I get BKB, because when I get Hurricane Pike and Yasha and BKB, that's when I'm ready to fight, because I have all the items I need to play this game. I have BKB to deal with Rubik and Snapfire, all his crap. I have Yasha to obviously do damage in the team fights, and I obviously have Hurricane Pike to deal with Slark and the Prophet. And also, if Magnus comes in for an RP, I can maybe use the Hurricane Pike to get out of it. And those are the kind of the core items I actually need to take 5 and 5 engagements. And that's something that's really important when you're a carry, knowing what items I need to actually play the game, basically, or play the team fights. As we push in bot, and I TP in top as well. But as you see, it's not a 5 and 5 engagements. We've killed Prophet, they're backing off, for example, so it's not a big engagement. But when we're going to be pushing, you know, as 5, or we're going as Roshan, I need these items before I can do that. So you'll see, I'm still obviously being involved in team fights, but they're more like skirmishes than big full-on 5 team fights. I'm not saying, hey guys, group up around me, you know. But when I get BKB, that's when the playstyle of me will change. You know, I'll have the items I need, and then I can start, you know, taking Roshan, taking tier 1s, for like, you know, taking, you know, going higher ground, for example. And I'm closing in on BKB very quickly. Obviously, another thing to note as well, obviously always having clarities. I've talked about the mana problems you have with this hero, and it's really important that you kind of keep on having mana available and stuff. I'm sort of telling my team, don't push in top, I want to push in bot. I don't have BKB yet, but they are insistent on going. And sometimes, obviously, if your team's insistent in going, it's better to play with them, even if it might be the wrong decision. You know, it's been talked to death about how, you know, going on one opinion or following one direction as a team kind of thing. You know, it's better to have one call or one play, even if it isn't ideal, than having everyone have their own kind of ideas of what play to be made kind of thing. And it worked out here in the end, as we end up taking the tower and killing Prophet, even though Odie did Tibby out bot for some reason. But you know, it's matchmaking. It's not going to be perfectly coordinated, even in Immortal bracket, for example. So I've got BKB now. So this is the point where, like, my playstyle as a Drow will be a bit more different. As you see, I'm playing a bit more involved in the team fights. I'm no longer just kind of AFK farming. Now I kind of want my team to play around with me, and immediately when I see an opportunity, I go in, BKB, straight in, and there's nothing they can do. We end up killing the Rubik, and obviously multi-shot really coming out in the clutch there. Because even if they have invis, multi-shot goes through it. Same goes for Slark's ulti as well. But we're not going to catch Slark because he has Ags, so we can go hit Roche. Like, you know, I've got these, I've got BKB now, so I want to be fighting. I want to be fighting as 5. Prophet's going to be trying to split push, and obviously we kind of feel that we have the advantage now, so we don't want to be giving an inch to the plays of Prophet, and that's what's really important. We end up catching the Magnus, which is quite nice, and just for the sake of kind of keeping the items I already have, I'm going to go Manta as well. Manta is also quite nice because if I'm really, really clutch, I can dodge Magnus RP. I can kind of get out of Prophet Sprout as well, and again, it's just more agility. That's really useful, and I can use it to push lanes, for example. So Manta is just a nice item. Just any kind of stat-heavy item is really, really useful on the draw as well. Again, still getting split pushed by the Prophet, but I don't have a TP, so we're going to have to go really nice Ice Path onto 2 there, and we end up killing the Snapfire and the Rubik, and as a result we end up able to push high ground because Magnus is dead as well. So really nice catch actually from the Jakiro. I think he's like kind of a, I think like Jakiro is kind of high MMR player, I think, somewhat. So yeah, it's pretty decent. Pretty decent. So obviously Prophet's still pushing in, but like we can have a support kind of rotate and do that, whereas I'm kind of staying with my team. I don't want to be like, I'm the one that's going to be pushing. Like if Jakiro can defend against Prophet, there's no need for me to do it, because I'm the one that does a lot of the damage to the towers. I'm the tower killer. You know, OD isn't great at killing towers, so I'm going to be the one that needs to actually do things to actually take structures and take towers. So again, and as you see, like just when I get the BKB, my kind of playstyle is completely different. TP in for the Magnus, and I don't want to get hit by the RP. So, but you see, like if I'm not touched in these team fights, I can do a lot of damage. Like Magnus, he had BKB, and yet he still felt the need to kind of back off. I feel like we should get out here. There's no RP, so I BKB TP out, but my OD goes in, and obviously when that happens, like, if your team commits, you can't let them just like go by themselves. So I end up cancelling my TP and fighting as well. But we've already kind of taken mid, and top and bot are pushed in. So we aren't really able. And seeing as they have Sluck and the 2 supports available, we can't just push top with no creeps in. So we end up backing off, taking the shrines, doing everything kind of methodical if possible. Roche is up as well if we wanted to take it. But we end up just sort of going for the shrine instead. So just speed up here. So let's talk about a lot of items as well. I mean, I got a few neutrimes. I think I ended up getting the at level 1 anyway. I ended up getting the Ironwood Tree and the Keen Optic. Both are actually kind of decent on Drow, because obviously the stats on Ironwood Tree is fantastic, but because obviously the interaction with Tree and his Nature's Guys and stuff, it's almost too much value on him to give it away. The Cast Range is quite nice on Keen Optic because it works on your Gust and your Multi-Shot. And also the mana regeneration is really nice because I've talked about how you do suffer with mana issues, but I gave him away in the end. Other than other items, obviously any kind of Agi focused stats like Ring of Aquila, Van Brace are really, really nice. Imp Claw is really useful as well because of the crit does actually stack with marksmanship, and as you see, I'm actually building a Daedalus of my own. And the reason why I'm building that as well is because, so first off, as we sort of see a team fight here, I just want to talk about this quickly. So when you play Drow Ranger, like these are the items I need to kind of play the game. Now it's all kind of situational or kind of luxury items in terms of what do I want to play with. So really interesting thing to note, with your crit, it actually can interact with your marksmanship proc. So when you proc on your marksmanship, you can actually crit on top of that. So obviously, so with marksmanship, what it ends up doing is you have a chance, obviously, to ignore their base armor. So if you're ignoring their base armor and then critting on top of that, you can do some insane damage, and that's why I'm going for it here. I feel that when Magnus BKBs, we need a way to kind of deal with Magnus BKB. The instance what we saw here, he BKB'd, I just right-clicked him. If I had Daedalus there, I'd be doing even more damage and being a real threat to him. But however, if you go for this crit build, obviously it doesn't synergize particularly well with your multi-shot, and obviously multi-shot is really good against Slark when he's in his Shadow Dance, because it will attack him even if he's in there. But crit doesn't really synergize great with multi-shot because the multi-shot works on the base damage bonus, and obviously Daedalus is added damage, the green damage, whereas the multi-shot only works with the white damage. So having, Butterfly, for example, would be useful for the multi-shot, whereas crit would be good for the marksmanship. So slight dyssynergy between the two. But because I focused more on trying to deal with Magnus when he had BKB, I end up going for the marksmanship here instead. OD gets picked off, we TP it in, but he's already dead at the time, and we need to get back because we're getting spotted by someone here. So we end up backing off. and we don't want to end up getting committed. And Slark finds the treant as well. I try and help him a little bit, end up using multi-shot here, and just end up killing the Slark as a result. And they end up committed now, and as a result, they end up getting punished instead. Mr. Gus, Rubik goes back instead of top, and he's end up fine. But we end up killing the Snapfire as well. But you're seeing the kind of damage I'm doing now. It's insane. I'm obviously top net worth now. So as long as I'm not getting initiated on, again, TPing into fights. Man, I can't even speak today, man. Maybe I'm just really tired. I don't know. But this is obviously where the Roshan is really useful as well, and taking Aegis, because obviously if they commit on me, then I'm going to come back with another life. But you want to be kind of playing the outskirts, because if you're kind of not focused in the team fights, you can be doing so much damage and so much work. There. So obviously, just fast forwarding here, we take Roche, and now we can kind of play a very methodical game where we're just pushing towers completely. Obviously, after my Daedalus, I'm going for the Butterfly, kind of going half and half in terms of synergy between my Marksmanship and the multi-shot. Another item build would have been good is maybe F-Blade as well. You know, if Slot goes on someone, or Magnus, I can save him with F-Blade, and F-Blade gives us, you know, gives me so much stats, and that would synergize really nice with the multi-shot from there. So right now, obviously, I know that they're just trying to split push us basically now. But the thing is, we don't want to give, I don't want to let up the pressure, so that's why I'm not tipping top or bot. You see a Slot top, we saw Profit bot. I want to stay in this vicinity so I can still hit towers. If I tippy bot or tippy top, then the enemy team will then push out, and I don't want to give them an inch to come outside the base. So I'm going to let them split push, and hopefully let my Jakiro do the rest. And as we have Aegis, we feel confident enough to take a team fight, even if Jakiro's not even there. Really nice RP from Magnus. I end up getting caught out from the RP as well, but again, we're strong enough that able to sort of survive with or through the RP, and obviously I have Aegis, so I can revive back, and we're still strong enough to win a team fight, even if Magnus hits a wonderful RP. And basically that is the game really. Other than that, Profit dead without buyback. Same goes for Slark as well. We've taken top, we've taken mid, and then other than that, as you see, the game's kind of over. So, just things to kind of keep in mind when you play Drow. Don't be afraid to take team fights. But if you do take team fights, try and be the one TPing into the fights instead of having the team fights kind of revolving around you, particularly in the early game when you don't have the necessary items to kind of survive and be useful. Because your hero does team fight, but he's a lot better if he comes in late, as like most carries do, to be honest. Obviously playing the other side of the map, and then splits the kind of perspective or splits the priorities for the enemy team of where they should gank you or take the T1 tower top, really important. And then also just in terms of your item build, knowing what you need and having a reason for it. Obviously, I talked about the Hurricane Pike, I talked about the BKB, I talked about the Daedalus and other things as well. If you do those things, this hero is incredibly good. Obviously, also when it comes to picking the Drow as well, can be really useful of knowing when to pick it against what lanes. I've talked about actually how you know, I wanted a ranged hero, and this is probably one of the best ranged heroes in the carry position right now. So making sure that, you know, when to pick it. He's also very good against Doom. You know, I made a hero about Doom and how Doom is very, very good against most safe laners. Drow can kind of go toe to toe with him, and also is happy to go into the jungle when Doom hits the level 6 mark, for example. Very good against Lone Droid as well. You see, I'm seeing some Lone Droid offlaners and can shred the bear and the hero as well. But that is it for the game, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something as well. I just want to say I'm doing coaching as well, so if you're interested in coaching, send me a DM. Other than that, write a comment down below on the next hero you'd like to see. And other than that, guys, please like and subscribe and make a comment, because it really does help with my channel. I'm getting close to YouTube partnership, so I hope we get that. Right, guys, other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Keep keybiting and grinding. Peace out, guys. Hey guys, just wanted to show you a quick thing that I forgot to mention. So with the Hurricane Pike and the kind of interaction with Drow Ranger, you have to have frost arrows on autocast. Otherwise, what will end up happening is if you try and use frost arrows after Hurricane Pike, as I will show you, it will not give you the extra range after you've used it. So, for example, I use Hurricane Pike, and obviously my regular attacks can attack from this range. However, if I then try and manually cast frost arrows, like by using Q after I've used Hurricane Pike, what ends up happening is, look, I have to end up running into the same ranges as I had before. However, if you have frost arrows on autocast, so just right click the frost arrows and then use the Hurricane Pike, it works. Kind of a bug, kind of a weird glitch, but that's Valve for you. Anyway, guys, peace.
I quiver with anticipation.